Hello, loves. Hello, hello. It's Hills here from the Blue Flame Apothecary. Today we will be letting the energy flow, letting the frequency flow with the intent of receptivity and valuing of self. Receptivity and valuing of self, and how linked these two are. Many of us who are sensitive, empathic, light workers have a tendency to give and give and give and give. I am a very, very good example of that. I love giving. I love giving. However, when it comes to receiving, to open up and allow ourselves to receive something, and that can be something as simple as a flower or as grand as light from source, we can close down. Part of that is a trust mechanism. And the way I'm being shown to kind of go through and start to bring this energy in is through our childhoods and the programming that we received as little tiny beings when we were infants or toddlers or very young little light beings running around. Because even in our infancy, we were tuned so intimately to our surroundings. And this is really true about every infant, right? Like an ability to connect energetically to the surroundings so that you can know what's safe and what's not where you are. And we think of infants as very vulnerable because they can't walk and they can't talk. And in some ways, they're also like the strongest energy workers on the planet because they can't talk and they can't walk and they're not able to express themselves, and they're sponges constantly learning everything about their surroundings, right? And this is true for infants and toddlers. Our young bodies are receptors. We are in our most receptive state. And through learned responses, based on that, how open we stay changes. If you're extremely sensitive, if you're born as an empath, as a sensitive, as an oracle, as a channel, as a light worker, this does not, as the as the skull starts to harden and that open channel starts to close, every infant, they have that soft spot, and it doesn't fully close until we're 18, sometimes older. As that starts to close, though, our responses can get hardened also. Our connection can get hardened. And what we learned in those really formative ages, like anytime before 7, about who to trust, how to trust, when it's safe to receive, and how we should give, how we should provide our light and our energy to others, is formed during that really open phase. So what happens if you're rewarded every time you beam a smile and punished every time you cry? You start to think, oh, you start to feel, oh, this is great, but, or anger is bad. And I should never experience those emotions. If I do, then I'm bad. So then we start to distrust our own emotional bodies. And we start to separate what we think from what we feel. That's hard, isn't it? When we start to feel and think together again, which is kind of what we're all doing right now. We have that water bearer Aquarian energy, and that's flushing our emotions and our mental body and clearing out the connection between the two of them so that we can come back to wholeness of integrated emotional and mental bodies. And that's especially true in this current Aquarian cycle, where we have all this energy pushing and pushing and pushing us forward. Now every planet, all the major planets are moving forward, and it's all pushing us into that amazing month of March. There's also this sense that we should all be like ready to go because every planet's moving forward, right? But energetically speaking, it takes some time to get the momentum. Mars is still inching, not moving at its normal speed. Mercury the same, and Uranus just turned. So it's just starting to kind of begin forward momentum. Kind of has that like locomotive feel, right? Chugga chugga, chugga chugga, chugga chugga, chugga chugga, chugga chugga, chugga chugga. And then it goes, right? But it takes some time to build up the steam, the stamina to move forward to the fullness. And part of what I'm really feeling is we're being given this kind of grace period to start to allow our systems to get more comfortable receiving. We've done all this internal work over the last couple of months, over this last couple of years, really getting ourselves like, okay, who am I? 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 Who am I really in this moment? Who am I really in this moment? And now we're being asked to come out into the world as that. And we're not trained for it. But since we were kids, we were told to fit in, to conform, to be like everyone else, when that was so far from who we were. So we got really good at, who am I supposed to be when I walk into this room, as opposed to, this is who I am as I walk into this room. I had a really amazing revelation with regard to Mike recently about his presence. And after 25 years together, it just finally dawned on me that every time he walks into a room, he walks in with the same energetic template, the same essence. This is me, take it or leave it. And I have spent many, many, many years walking into rooms, okay, who am I supposed to be in this space? What is it that these people are expecting me to be? I'm getting better. But those of us who are really, really sensitive in the Lightworker, Oracle, Channel, Empath, space holding way, because we can feel all of the energies around us so much, it can be hard to pull the lines apart and realize which one's actually us. And that's kind of the work that we've been doing over these last couple of years, and really intensely over the last couple of months, is this one is me. Oh, I see you. Yes, there you are. Amazing. Nice to meet you. And now taking that energy and saying, this is me. This is me. I work with animal magic cards that I draw every new moon for myself. And one of the cards that I got this new moon is the peacock. And I was like, oh yeah, of course, this is me. And also about receiving, because it's all those eyes, like taking in information. And let's feel for a minute. Let's feel for a minute. What does it mean to you? Like, go into your heart space, take a couple of deep breaths. Let's do this together. Let's do this together. Let's do this together. Into the heart space. Drop in. You may even want to drop all the way down into your root chakra and your sits bones. As you start to feel the connection to the truth of who you are, and then open up your heart a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more to receive, to receive. It's okay if it is hard. It's okay if it's hard. If you open it up just enough that you see a tiny sliver of light coming in and freak out and say, oh shit, no, that's too much. Slam the door shut. It's practice. It's practice. So then you can go back. You can gather yourself together again and say, okay, I remember who I am. I remember who I am in this moment. I remember the truth of me. And I can open myself up to receive a little bit more. I can open myself up to receive a little bit more. And just practice. Every day, maybe a few times a day. Is it safe to open up here? Is it safe to open up here? Can I open a little bit more here? And also, as to share like some seriously embodied receiving practices. The other day, I was called to take one of my long meditation walks, and on Monday I woke up and I was feeling it in my body. So much releasing has been going on, right? My entire physical body was just like, we could just lay in bed all day. And my team and guides and mind and heart were like, no, you're going to take it really easy, but you've got stuff that you need to do out in the world. But the stuff that I had to do, it was work because it's work for me, keeping my system and opening up and remembering who I am. And a lot of times I have to readjust what my idea of what it means to be at work is, because each of us has a unique job, and we wouldn't yell at a musician for playing his instrument or her instrument, right? We wouldn't yell at a publisher for reading a book, an editor for reading a book, because that's what their job is, right? But then we sit in a cafe and read a book, and we're like, oh, I didn't do anything today. Didn't you? Didn't you know? It's just our definition and where we place value, and this comes back to how we value ourselves. So, with that little segue, I got myself okay with the fact that most people would look at what I did as a day off, even though for me, I understood that it was an integration day and it was a learning day. And so I went out for my long meditation walk, and I went up to Star King Park, which is a park up at the top of a hill near my house, where there's a labyrinth. Now, normally when I walk an earthen, like a rock-formed labyrinth, as I'm walking the inner, going in, that releasing aspect, of the labyrinth. When there are stones that have kind of fallen over or in the middle of the path, I will pick them up and place them. And it's me, this is a releasing practice, but it's also me understanding that this is part of what I do, is put things, help build the foundations of things, create the new. So I'm clearing a path for myself and then for anyone that I'm bringing with me. This time, I came across the first little rocket, and the labyrinth was spectacularly clean. There wasn't any big rocks that had fallen over, which I noticed almost as soon as I got there. And I went to, I felt my energy go to pick it up, not my physical body. And there was this, no, not this time. This time you are set here to receive. You are not supposed to do. You are supposed to be, and let yourself walk this labyrinth. You can walk by any stone and you can feel that feeling like, I need to pick that up and I need to do this and I need to set everything set for all these other people who might follow me through this labyrinth so it's beautiful and ready to go for them. I was like, no, this time it's your turn to receive. And I walked through that whole labyrinth and I did not pick up a single stone, except for the stone that I had picked up before I got there, to lay at the center. And again, after I connected with the source light and began my recoding, my integration, which is the exiting of the labyrinth, I did not pick up a stone. There was a couple that I was like, oh, and I was like, no, I'm not supposed to. And earlier that day, I had scheduled a mani-pedi for myself. Now, this is not something I do very often anymore. And I'm always like, oh, I have this to do, or I'm going to do this. And I know I could use that like day of nice treat for myself. But there's all of these ways that I need to be out in the world doing things. And so I let myself very slowly walk back down to the little salon where I had scheduled my manicure and pedicure. And they weren't ready for me. They were really busy, and the energy in there was really hectic because they are not very good at their scheduling. They always say yes, and they don't actually have the bandwidth, which was a beautiful lesson to be sitting there and witnessing. So I sat there, and I kept wanting to I can't just be sitting here. I can't be just sitting here. I need to I should just reschedule this because it's been half an hour that I've been waiting now, and I need to do something. All I had on my docket was maybe to make dinner for Mike and I later that night. I purposefully left my day very open. But my head kept telling me, no, you need to do this, you need to do that. You can't just be sitting here. And all of my being, all of the higher self, the multidimensional self of me, and all of my team and guides were like, no, this is exactly where you're supposed to be. You were supposed to be here witnessing this. You were supposed to then sit in the chair and let it knead at your back while you do nothing. You're not reading a book. You're not listening to a podcast. You are sitting here receiving this pampering, this clearing of your feet, this massage of your feet and hands, these places where we do so much. We punish our hands and our feet, and we very rarely take good care of them. So after all of that, I was walking home, what I thought was going to be a 1 hour mani-pedi, having been a 2 hour time at the salon. And I could just feel my whole system thanking me for taking that time for myself, for allowing those energies to flow around me without becoming hectic with them. It feels like the way that Monday was spent for me has come through to kind of help us all open up to those very kind of seemingly small ways where we can open up and let ourselves receive a little bit easier. Those places where somebody walks by you on the street and smiles, and you allow yourself to actually receive that smile, or asks how you are, and you allow yourself to actually answer. Even if it's still a one-word answer, but it's the truth as opposed to, oh, great, we're fine. So how are you? How are you? Can you receive how are you? And if you would like to answer, I will receive in the comments the answer to how are you right now. We had a really beautiful new moon circle in the members portal. And if it calls, it would be absolutely spectacular to receive you into the members portal. The replay is now live and all of the frequencies are there ready. The members portal gift, which is an apothecary treat that I channel through for members each month, was gridded and tuned to the moment that Uranus began forward motion again, pulling all of us forward. And it came through, it's like a forgiveness. One of my friends was like, oh, it's an amnesty. And I was like, yeah, it's an amnesty. Really amazing flavors, and I'll be sharing more about that in the members portal. There's going to be a link below. You can also check out the cosmic light drops. There will be a link below for that, to start to explore what these energies that we're currently in, because we're still very much in the energies of that Aquarian new moon. Medusa and Saturn are still conjunct, and Kali and Uranus are still conjunct, and Mercury is kind of moving forward now through Capricorn and is about to square Chiron, if it's not already, while we're in this, which is bringing more mental chatter to the who am I question, because Chiron's in Aries right now. There's a really amazing stone for working with this sort of energy. There's quite a few, actually. There's citrine, there's bumblebee, sometimes called bumblebee jasper. That's one of my favorites I have this big bumblebee jasper medallion that I was wearing yesterday as I was really anchoring through self-worth issues. Because receiving is a self-worth practice. It is a self-worth practice. I am worthy of receiving this. It is a solar plexus practice. Bringing yourself into a state of, I am allowed to receive. That's why when a cat or a dog really trusts you, you get their belly, right? Because you're getting the whole, they're willing to receive your love fully. They trust you that much that they are willing to expose the most sensitive part of their being. Pyrite. Pyrite feels like one of the most powerful stones to be working with right now. If you're into crystals, and you have some pyrite, maybe carrying it around with you. Pyrite is sometimes also called fool's gold. I have a beautiful tower right behind me right now. It is really good at working with the electromagnetic body, and that is deeply connected to our solar plexus. It is grounding. I keep a little cube of pyrite next to my head where I sleep. Also, Shunghai would also be really good. But if you find like a pyrite or a Shanghai bracelet, those would be amazing to wear also. I have a hard time wearing them because I have really tiny wrists and they always hang off. So I do necklaces and rings instead. But any grounding stones and any solar plexus stones would be really great to have. Smoky citrine would be another amazing stone. You may notice over the next couple of weeks also, if you haven't already started to notice, that light body symptoms are really, really amplified right now. However those present for you, you might be having digestive issues, bubbly stomach, or ringing ears, breaking out into a sweat out of nowhere and then chills. Sometimes it can almost feel like you have the flu. For me, one of the big ones is it feels literally like there's electricity running through my teeth. And I get a lot of ear ringing. And my solar plexus goes. Loosening my diaphragm. Like I said, how are you? I love you. And thank you for receiving me. And I look forward to receiving you in the comments. And as a subscriber, if you're not already, go ahead and subscribe. There's a liking on this video. Go ahead and do that. And in the members portal, come check it out. It's a really beautiful and growing community. And it's very full of love and lots of good treats. And if you don't live in the US, don't worry, I also ship I ship the members treat anywhere in the world. So if you're like, well, I don't know if I can get the members treat because I live in the UK or I live in Australia or wherever, I do ship everywhere. There's also a membership option where you don't get the physical treat, and that's always a possibility for you if you feel more drawn to that. Oh, thank you, my loves. As always, and in all ways, so much and many loves to you from all the dimensions.